Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. So as you can see, I didn't upload any video this week because I have a little time to record and and work at the restaurant, etc. But I decided today to make a weekly review. So as you can see, daily I am still recording, the best setup of the day. I'm just not recording the video, but I'm still, taking screenshots and the parameters and etc. Okay, so I decided to make like a weekly review because now you know uh, as you can see, we have a strategy column. So most of the strategies here I have already explained in videos. So the BOS, triple, double, whatever. You have the range within a range, intermediate term high, intermediate term low strategy, accumulation plus new range, the MW continuation, the setup where you take all the liquidity inside the range, and the New York manipulation before 8. So those are the main strategies. Like 90% of my trades are about, if not maybe 100% of my trade, probably, are about those strategies, which I explained already in my videos. So now I'm just gonna make some weekly reviews, and I will try to do them every week. I will try, but yeah, let's start for this week. So some of those trades are live and some are backtest. Okay, so you can see there is one backtest and the others are live. I think there is one which I didn't define, probably this one. And this one was a live trade. Okay. So what the software which I'm using is called Notion. Notion, I don't know if it will appear on the screen. Yeah, Notion, like it's written right there, Larry's Notion. Okay. And so I use it since a year now to record, for example, trading setup of 2022, and I have also my reading list, etc., per year. But yeah, I find it very good to record your setups. And so because you can use, you just have the first work is gonna be huge because you have to define the table, type everything you want to put, in the template. And then you just have to do this once. And if you will see, for example, new trade, okay, open. So you have just to put, for example, this is a backtest, day of the week, date, type, pullback, reversal. This is not very important. Maybe I will remove it. And yeah, the time I think is important. Commentary, strategy, okay, which strategy I'm using. And of course, now I just have to click on trade and boom, I have the scenario for my trade. And then I just see if it checks all the boxes of my strategy. Okay. And I put the screenshot, okay. So maybe I can share my template. And maybe I think I can share this template if you want, but I recommend probably to do your own, okay, your own template, your own strategy. And I don't like, to share. I like to share everything I know, but not, a copy paste type of sharing, like because I know it's not good for you. Okay. So now let's start. Monday. Okay, so my strategy, I traded at, it was a live trade. I traded at 9:40 Paris time. For me, it was a clean setup, and my strategy was intermediate term high. So the scenario was continuation at least until bottom order block. Okay, so this, I will not comment on this because this is my work. Okay, this is not, this is my checklist. There is no point of going, you know, point per point if you cannot see the screen. Okay, so this has no meaning if you have no screen on, you know, if you cannot see it live. But now we will see the trade screenshots. So on the daily, I spotted a free runs, you know, on old high, and the old high is a 2 days order block. Okay, so this order block is a 2 days order block, and for me, above there is liquidity. But before we take this liquidity, I think the algorithm wants to take first some sell side liquidity, because we have just taken this buy side, you know, big buy side liquidity, and now people are induced to buy, and this is a very clean daily order block to buy from. Okay, we just, yeah, so you can see better. This is a very clean daily order block. People will buy from there, and we have like the 3 runs, which is for me kind of reversal pattern, at least for a pullback, you know, and at least aiming this sell side liquidity. But if I can, aiming for this trend line liquidity, and maybe rebalance this fair value gap and maybe continue. So, you know, I don't like to make big, you know, assumption like predictions, because there is maybe, you know. And so for me, what is clear is this target. Okay. After that, we will see how the price reacts, and we can try to predict, you know, on a daily basis, not try to predict all price, you know. So, okay. Now on the H1, 1 hour. So you see, this is the daily order block and the target, which we were talking about. We have a 4-hour fair value gap right there. Okay. And we made a push down. And so here, there was liquidity above this. So this was a short-term low. Boom, intermediate term low. And you could trade from there. Okay. So this was the scenario. Now, if you can see on the 15-minute, you know, we have taken the buy side liquidity, forming probably an intermediate term high. And we want to trade from this intermediate term high and target the sell side. Okay. So this screenshot is after the trade has happened. Okay. So it's at the end of the day. But yeah, at London, sorry, 8 a.m. open, it was somewhere like here, you know. And so if you can see on the 1 minute, you see at 8 we were sorry, below the buy side liquidity. We took the buy side liquidity around 9:30, and then boom, shift of market structure. I would have preferred a close below, but the candles were big and it was, you know, quick and energetic. So for me, it's enough. And, you know, they just took liquidity. So for me, it was like 99, 95%, you know, sure about the shift. Okay. And so I traded right from there. Okay. My live entry. And okay, did some pullbacks, and you could re-enter from there, from this fair value gap, because Here you cannot see it, but it just went a little higher. So it's like an intermediate term high. Boom. You take a short-term low with a big fair value gap. You trade from there, stop loss here. Or if you want to be safe, stop loss there. But yeah, okay. If you didn't want to enter from there and you wanted a slightly tighter stop loss, better risk reward, you could enter from there. And so my TP was below. I didn't take the full TP, okay. I cut around there because it was 20 pips, a little bit more than 20 pips, and 1%, okay. And as you can see, I was more comfortable taking the profits right there than waiting for all this pullback and, wait until 3 p.m., to get another downside move. So 3 hours more to wait, Sometimes it can go to break even before coming back, So I don't want such type of things because at 12, I'm starting to work, and even before 12, I'm not anymore on my computer. So, I want to go to work with a peace of mind, not stressed about whether it will hit break even or whatever. Okay. So yeah, that's it for Monday. Now Tuesday. Tuesday was pretty tricky. Okay. And it took me out at break even. And I say no break even possible because if you wanted to take profits from this trade, you couldn't put break even because it went a lot around this price. And so the strategy is accumulation plus new range, okay? And so always the same thing on the daily, so no change. Now on the 4 minutes, you have, all the accumulation of buys since the evening, since Monday 4 p.m., we are accumulating buys, okay? And this does not look in the 4 minute like a new range, but if you zoom in the 1 minute, you can see that we have taken some liquidity, induced some sellers, which put their stop loss right there, and boom, we create a new range. So from low to this high, okay? And here it looks like it went above, but it did not. It was equals, okay? And yeah, you trade. Okay, you have this order block. You have two order blocks, this one and this one. And if you know about the most powerful shift of market structure, this order block broke the structure, took the liquidity. It's clear people will trade from there. So I put my order on the low of the fair value gap, stop loss above, with the spread, because if I didn't put the spread, I could have been stopped out with the spread, and this is not good. You always must include the spread in the stop loss, okay, and in the entry too, even though it will take one more pip into the equation of the risk to reward. It's okay. We don't care about risk reward. We care about reward first. Okay. You want to get to, don't take stupid losses just for 0.5 pips, or don't miss a trade for 0.5 pips, This is stupid. Reduce your risk, but make sure you get the reward, okay? So yeah, this was my trade. It took me out at break even. Okay, I put break even. I waited a long time, you know. And once we broke this low, okay, here, I put break even. Boom. And then we have taken some major liquidity, but yeah, I would have taken my profits right there because if we take this range from low to high, 50%, below 50%, there's this liquidity and the fair value gap right there. Perfect. Okay. But yeah. So I count this as a live trade, but break-even trade, not a win. Now, Wednesday, double BOS. Double BOS. It was not easy to see this one. So now we have retested the daily order block. Now, what we want to do a most powerful shift in market structure. And for this to happen, we need to mitigate some fair value gaps inside this little range, but above 50%. And above 50%, we need to come back above these highs, you know. I'm not sure about this one, to be honest. I don't know if we will take this high, but that was my scenario. Okay, so on the 5 minute, if you can see, we have like this little range. Okay, and like this takes the liquidity above. Boom, we induce people to sell. Stop losses are being hit, and then you can sell and target below. So I believe this was a back test. Yeah, this was a back test, I'm sure. I did not trade this live. Yeah, exactly. I've just saw it afterwards. Okay. I mean, I saw this, but for me, it was not clear enough in terms of price action here, you know, to trade. So I just let it go. I knew about the target, at least this sell side liquidity. But yeah, so the double BOS, I don't know if you have seen, you have this range, okay, boom, BOS. Okay, so the target is this range low, especially because we have a beautiful order block people will trade from. And inside this order block, we have the confirmation BOS. People now will trade from this order block and this order block, okay? So of course it was clean, to be honest, but I don't know, I didn't sell. So I wouldn't have entered from there, from this fair value gap, because this is noise for me, you know, this is not clear price action. So for me here, it breaks nothing. However, now we rebalance the fair value gap and boom, we make big push down, okay? I wouldn't have entered from there also, but if I have waited for like an intermediate term high, even there, you know, it's not clear, but you have a little tiny imbalance for value gap right there that I wouldn't have seen if I don't have, you know, I didn't have the imbalance indicator, which puts the candles in black, you know, so I cannot miss, you know, these types of little for value gaps. But even though you have missed this one, as you can see, it does another breakout structure. So I could have called this one the triple BOS because we retest this last unmitigated order block and we make a breakout structure, okay? So I wouldn't count this as a breakout structure for most people because they cannot see it. But if you see, this is a move and we break this move. So this one, everyone can see it, okay? Boom, triple BOS. I would even sell without a confirmation, okay, without waiting for another entry. On a triple BOS, sometimes I snipe, even, especially when I know that the intermediate term high is close, you know. And this is a confirmed intermediate term high because we have fair value gaps and we broke the structure, okay? And so let's say you have waited triple BOS, you wait for a fair value gap. Here, no retest, here, no retest, but here you have a retest and a break with the, you know, the breakout structure, which confirms that this becomes a new intermediate term high. So you could trade from there. It's not a big stop loss, I think. Let's say you trade from 53, maybe 63. Yeah, yeah. Still, yeah, still 10 pips. Okay, but it's okay. You see how fast it goes after that. It's worse, you know. So, yeah. So this Wednesday, I didn't catch the trade. Thursday, I didn't trade at all, and I didn't find while backtesting, you know, I didn't find any proper trade to take on Thursday. That's why there is not even a backtest. You know, sometimes it's like this. You don't need to force trading. Even backtesting, you don't need to find a setup every day. I could have found maybe a little scalp or whatever, but that didn't respect all of my strategy. So I don't like, you know. For me, it's not worth to trade when conditions are against your strategy, because even when it goes within your strategy, it's difficult to make winning trades. So why take a risk, another bigger risk, you know? So it's not worth. Now, Friday, I traded live at 10-11. It was BOS also, kind of, but it was not the best trade of the day. And yeah, I remember Wednesday, I caught a little buy, you know, little winning trade, but it was not as beautiful as this back test. That's why I prefer to show to you, especially the back test, and to myself also, because I want to trade the best trades, you know, and try to dish, you know, the little trades that are very risky, you know. And so, yeah, it was not the best trade of the day, but I still caught a decent trade. So not the best trade because I was trading middle range, okay? And I don't like to trade middle range. So this is it. On the 15-minute, I saw this little fair value gap and this range, okay? And I was expecting, to be honest, because you see, same thing than Wednesday. You have the BOS from low to high, and you have this order block which broke the structure, and people want to trade from. But the accumulation is on the sell, you know. However, we took most of the internal liquidity inside this little range. So I was like, okay, maybe this is intermediate term high. Let's see the reaction. BOS, people will try to buy from there. Stop loss below. But I was wrong about the direction. However, I still managed to catch some pips, you know, almost 20, a little bit less than 20 pips. So we have taken the buy side liquidity, and I knew I needed to trade right from this order block, from this fair value gap, and not wait for SMS type 1, you know, because I knew once we start breaking structure, if it's not the right direction, it will take me out on the stop loss, you know, but now that I entered pretty early, I knew we needed to pull back at least until this breaker. Why? Because this breaker is, it's following an order flow. So you have this green candlestick, which push down. Instead of making a new high, because here you have the bullish order flow, it's making a new low, okay, with displacement. And then boom, right after, we don't even retest this order block. We just go through it and no possible entry, okay, on the buy side, let's say buy side. And for me, this was the only possible entry. Not the only, but the most probable entry would be from there. Okay, we need to retest this breaker before continuing. And you see how precise the algorithm is, because I've put my TP right there because I went to work and it just went into my TP and boom, it reversed. And of course, I've put break even just with this push. For me, it was enough to go break even because I knew probably I was not in the right direction. Now you will tell me why didn't I wait for this trade and take the buy or whatever. At that time I was working. Probably if I was in front of the computer, but even not even because I already took almost 1% for the day. So I don't know if it was worth risking. I don't really like to trade after 11. Okay. I like to trade before 11. And if I can find the setup before it, I will take it, even if it's not the best one. If I can catch 1% or a little bit less, I will take it. Okay, so that's it for this week. Let's cut this video and I will try to do the same next week on Sunday. Let's try to put like, a weekly time for us and for me to share with you what I have seen on EURUSD during the week. And if you can compare with your setups and with your best trade of the days or with your live trades, you can make progression, progress, and maybe you find some better trade than I did, You can find a lot of value if you can do like me, just record your trades with the parameters of your strategy. And then at the end of the day, you take the screenshot, you backtest the day, you take the screenshot of the best trades, and you can compare it with your live trades because your live trades are not always the best, like me. It's not always the best trades. But yeah. And then you can compare with me and yeah, you can. I think the most progress I have made was once I started doing this. You remember, if you have watched my first video, My Way of Trading, I told you that everything shifted, on the 26th of January. And I started doing this in 2021, end of 2021. And you see, 2 months after I have found my strategy and I started to get inconsistent, Okay. So you see, I've recorded everything, and this is where I was using another strategy first, I was still using, some of the BOS type and some of liquidity instrument traps and, and yeah, that's it. Okay. So I hope you got some good value from this today's session, and see you next week. Trade safe, trade mindlessly.